This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Residents of Laird Street have one less concern this evening after police moved an anti-crime initiative to that corner and tore down a derelict home. Cleopatra Murphy tonight tells us that police say there's clear evidence that when abandoned vehicles and homes are removed from a community, crime goes down.
Workers less than 10 minutes to demolish this Laird Street home. It's a place police say has been identified as a haven for criminal activity. Assistant Superintendent of Police Anthony Roll describes a recent discovery at the structure located next to a church.
2 weeks ago, my officers, acting on information intelligence, proceeded to this abandoned house that was torn down and found a firearm, with 12 live rounds.
Roll says criminals use abandoned structures like this to store drugs, guns, and ammunition. Police added that men hang around the home, and this made members of Friendship Baptist Church reluctant to attend church at night. Pastor Archulus Burrows says the home's removal brings peace of mind to the community.
Now we can, even as worship, when it's time for worship, we can be so more or less comfortable to know that at least no one is able to hang out in there. But we have never been personally attacked, but except that we just want to be relaxed knowing that we can worship God in peace.
Tuesday's anti-crime initiative was part of the Royal Bahamas Police Force's efforts to rid communities of homes and vehicles that contribute to crime. Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean says it is all in an effort to bring a sense of safety back to inner-city communities.
We subscribe to the broken window theory, which is widely publicized, where we believe that if we can improve our environment, the thinking of people will be better, that criminals would not find that these areas where abandoned buildings and derelict vehicles are easy prey for them to feel comfortable. We're really trying to make it very, very uncomfortable for the criminal elements.
When a building is demolished, Dean says it is based on intelligence and added that officers have the support of those communities.
We are inundated with assistance, with calls from concerned members of the public who remain nameless, who tell us they want to see their corners look better.
Dean says police intend to be consistent in their approach. Officers will move to Angliston next to tear down buildings that have posed a problem. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Also from the courts today, accused armed robber Tyrone Knowles was back in court trying to get bail. However, the matter has been pushed to a later date. That's because his attorney did not show up. As a result, Justice Vera Watkins adjourned the matter to give Knowles time to contact his attorney. 26-year-old Knowles in the gray t-shirt is accused of robbing Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis, his wife Anne Marie Davis, and Davis's driver Wilberforce Seymour back in 2013. He has pleaded not guilty. The recently passed amendment to the Electricity Act, which paves the way for grid tie-in connection, is about to be put into practice. The government has chosen a local high school right here in the capital to become the first public green school. And as Carla Palmer tells us tonight, work is already in progress.
Anatole Rogers High School will pilot the government's solar energy efficient project. Making the announcement directly to the group it will impact was Environment Minister the Honourable Kenred Dorset.
Anatole Rogers has been selected because it is a magnet school for pre-engineering, and what we want to do is have the children of Anatole become more aware of the new renewable energy technologies, to look at a career path for them as they come out of high school to get more training, to really ensure that we Bahamianize the renewable energy sector as best as possible.
Minister Dorset is fueled by hopes of a successful outcome and the benefits to be derived from a fossil-free fueled environment.
Really looking forward to what we're able to do here, because it creates the model for what we should do throughout our public schools. So not only will Anatole Rogers be able to reduce the amount of electricity that it consumes from BEC, but any excess that it produces will be able to go into the grid and they will be able to get credit for it.
The project is being made possible by Carbon Forum, a non-profit organization that assists small island nations in lessening its carbon footprint.
We are a part of the 10 Island Challenge along with other Caribbean countries, all of whom have made a commitment to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and incorporate more renewable energy technologies in our energy matrix.
According to Minister Dorset, a technical team from Carbon Warrum has already assessed the school for testing and fitting.
Meaning the installation of solar powered systems, photovoltaic systems for the school, having the school become energy efficient, so the transference of incandescent bulbs to LED lighting.
Minister Dorset says once this model is completed and shows the data is being successful, this project will be extended to other schools. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
All right, Carla, thanks a lot. Talk about saving some money. One place making some money. CIBC First Caribbean reporting a $5 million profit so far for 2015. This is the first surplus the largest regionally listed bank in the English and Dutch Caribbean has recorded, get this, in the past 4 years. The bank CEO is in the Bahamas this week to share the good news. And as Altavis Money tells us tonight, the Bahamas is playing a prominent role in CIBC First Caribbean's regional operations.
CIBC First Caribbean recorded a net income of $13.5 million for the first quarter of its financial year. That's an increase of $5.4 million compared to last year. This performance mirrors CIBC First Caribbean Group, which recorded its best quarterly financial performance in 4 years. Bank officials also boast of a $26.6 million net income for the first 3 months of the year, the bank's best performance since 2010.
We've also recorded 3 consecutive quarters of lower loan loss expenses, and you'll remember that in the second quarter of last year we took some substantial provisions related to our mortgage portfolio, but also I think revised expectations in terms of the timing of the recovery in the Caribbean. And right now we have a coverage ratio on our non-performing loan portfolio equal to about 46 cents on the dollar.
CIBC First Caribbean's CEO Rick Parkhill admitted that the bank's operations for the past 2 years have been difficult, but he credited a part of the growth to employee commitment and a restructured business model that enables economic growth. He, along with the bank's managing director for the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands, Marie Rodlin Allen, are optimistic about the future operations and growth here in the Bahamas.
Of that $26.6 million, the Bahamas accounted for $13.5 million US dollars. So it's quite a significant proportion, and was certainly the highest result that we generated from an operating company within our regional framework.
Some of that is recruiting new customers. Of course, we're out every day pounding the pavement trying to recruit new customers across all different lines of business.
Senior executives of CIBC First Caribbean conducting a shareholders meeting tonight to share the good news about the bank's operations here in the Bahamas. Altavis Munnings, ZNS Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. The 28 companies preparing for the upcoming Bahamas Carnival have to add at least 15 to 20% indigenous Bahamian materials in their costume. With that mandate, members of the Bahamas National Festival Commission announced that they have teamed up with the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation to ensure that that happens. The partnership is expected to link Family Island suppliers of materials such as sisal and straw to the different companies and groups participating in the Junkanoo Carnival and the Youth Culture Fest. Participants of the Culture Fest are expected to incorporate 100% Bahamian materials into their products. In other business news, a new air charter service set to offer flights between New York's Westchester County Airport and Marsh Harbor, Abaco. Founder of the Fort Lauderdale-based iJet Charters, Jim Spider, said flights will commence on April 4th. iJet is also looking at offering other routes between the Bahamas and other Family Island destinations. And in international business news, Facebook making some additions to Messenger with a new payment feature set to come on stream in the coming months. The social media site announced that the new feature for Messenger will allow users to send and receive money from one another. The plan is for users who add their debit card information to Messenger's settings section to send payments by striking up a conversation with a friend, selecting the money icon that will appear in the row above the software keyboard, and tapping pay. Users who receive money do so by opening up that friend's message and accepting the payment when prompted. Like bank deposits, payments may take up to 3 business days to go through. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Juanita Swain.
Government House is usually a respectful place. Today, though, it was filled with laughter. This is the Governor General enjoyed a very special treat for her. It was a visit by what she calls one of her favorite Bahamian actresses, who's really bidding farewell to the country in a dynamite fashion. It's a character who's become known as Dynamite Daisy, as her family, staff of her production house, and honorees of her upcoming ball paid a very special courtesy call, as you'll see with Clint Watson, who was there as well as all the fireworks and dynamite exploded.
Lynn Therese Davis, the innovator of the character of a drunk woman who always found herself back to God during tough situations, will be no more.
A little difficult doing this all the time, you know.
I'm looking the same way.
And you know how beautiful I look. Well, you know you're number 1 and I'm number 2, right behind you. The fellas, them, they just pass up and they see you and they just follow.
Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Marguerite Pinling, has been a big fan of Dynamite Daisy since she first saw her performance on stage.
Ethel, you know her? Baptist Church.
Yeah, church on Meeting Street.
There you go. Yeah, not too far
from my cathedral.
That's it. That's
you know which one that is, eh?
Not really. Christ Church. Oh,
No. I'm at the heart of Grandstown.
Oh, St. Agnes.
I'm in the People's Church.
Oh, I know your church.
That one over the hill.
That's where they couldn't name him. Your pastor, they didn't give him bishop. They gave him canon because he loose. Boom! Canon, he just blow right up. Boom! Yes, he's a loose cannon. He's loose.
Daisy recounted to Her Excellency the moment when she realized it was time to move on from Daisy and begin taking on other roles.
I was in Freeport and I was Daisy at a church and I was doing Daisy. And I heard something else coming up. I heard me. The other side of me. And that was a good indication that it's time.
Lynn Therese will continue mentoring, writing, and producing plays. However, Dame Marguerite had this encouragement for Lynn Therese as she pursues her call to preach.
Preach the word that we can understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing too high.
No highfalutin.
No, come right down.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. That's what we need today. Yes. All this preaching today, you don't understand what they're saying.
Right.
I don't understand.
Break it down.
Break it down to the people's level.
Break it down.
Go right down and tell them. There's a word from Jeremiah today.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what the same was Jeremiah 6.
In the year that Uzziah died. Watch me.
Right. Yeah. The trees filled the temple. High and lifted.
Come on now.
Amen.
Look like we can turn this place into revivally.
And of course, the nation will get one final time to see Dynamite Daisy in action at her ball, Dynamite Ball, on March 27th. It'll be the final time you see Dynamite Daisy. Of course, the ball will be held at the Melia Resort in Cable Beach. Clint Watson is ZNS Network News.
It's bittersweet to see Dynamite Daisy go. It's a brilliant character there. She wishes to make fun of me anytime she saw me. I'm glad she's gone. Make sure to check that out. We're heading into Family Island News next. We're heading to Exuma. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. A major resort in Exuma is revamping itself so it continue to give its guests the Emerald experience they've come to enjoy. Beverly Curry tonight shares their story.
Sandals Emerald Bay has branded itself as the perfect getaway in the Exumas, and to ensure that the resort maintains a standout, General Manager Jeremy Mutton says there's no room for complacency.
We know that the guests come here to the island of Exuma and Sandals Emerald Bay with high expectations, so we are constantly, trying our best to go above and beyond. A lot of guests have actually been here for a number of years, so they come with even higher expectations because they so enjoyed it.
And one such marketing initiative, according to Mutton, is a radio remote that's happening this week in Exuma.
We're flying in radio stations from all over the US, and they're actually broadcasting live from Sandals Emerald Bay. It's an expensive initiative, but imagine being at home, back home in that cold weather, scraping your ice off the snow, listening to your favorite radio DJ or personality saying that they're in Exuma, and it's all about marketing and selling not only Sandals Emerald Bay, but the destination of Exuma as well.
The resort has also taken on a major project, injecting support to the local high school.
What we've done this year is have a very, very successful weekend work program for the 12th graders. What does it do? It allows them to earn a bit of money, which helps the parents. It helps them with their graduation fees and their school fees, and it also gives them an exposure, which especially on a family island is quite difficult to get. They're in the front line. I don't say to our guests, well, this is a student who's at it. No, they have a badge just like mine, and they will be serving and looking after the guests. So when they graduate this year, they graduate with a great sense of responsibility and a great sense of achievement. So, and I actually have about 25 of the 12th grade students here this year on that weekend work program.
Beverly Curry, ZNS Network News.